This is a special edition of WeatherScope, coverage of Winter Storm 96.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jill Brown here in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. It's another snow day in the Northeast. A lot of kids home from school again. It's been that kind of a winter. As a matter of fact, a record winter in some locations. Let's take you to Boston, where they are closing in on the 100-inch mark on snowfall. So far, they've had 98.7 inches this season, and that is a new record. And it's been a busy day. A lot of folks out, as you can see, waiting for the plows to come clear the roads, put a little salt and sand down, and it was still pretty slick out there. So one more storm that brought us a heavy round, and this one puts us in the record books. Are we finished for the year in Boston? Maybe not, and that may push us up over 100 inches. That would be an amazing season. You can see that on average we get 41 inches in Boston, and the last time we hit a record was not that long ago, the winter of 93-94, and for many cities that was the record snowfall. So this year beating it out in some locations. Here are some of our snowfall totals. You can see Greenwich, New York, 14 inches, and Albany has 14 inches as well. Boston ended up with 9 with this one. At JFK, just 3 inches, not that big a deal. And Asheville is last on our list, just an inch of snow. Now this is our snow history, and you can see that our band of heaviest snow was a little farther to the north actually with this storm than some of the last ones we've seen. We had snow flurries all the way down here into the south, but nothing on our snow history because we didn't get any accumulation. So about as far south as it went was Asheville, North Carolina. Now, the last few times from Boston to New York to Philadelphia is where the heaviest snow was. Again, this time just a little bit farther to the north, and right about here, of course, is Albany, New York, and that's where Mark Mancuso has been standing by. And Mark, you have 14 inches of new snow on the ground, and it looks like quite a mess out there.
It certainly is, but I guess you could say it's all over except the shivering and the blowing of the snow, because the snow's over, just a few leftover flurries, but the winds have really kicked in, and all that light fluffy snow, which accumulated to about 14-15 inches, that's now being blown about, and that is making a mess on some of the roadways that have been cleared. Early this morning it was just a mess all around, as the snow was compacted and the road crews were out scraping the streets, but as you can see, it was not enough to keep that rush hour from being a very slow one, as we had a very slick and slow and dangerous ride into work this morning. And unfortunately, it looks like that slow, slick, and dangerous ride is still with commuters on their way home. Temperatures did not warm up at all today. Temperatures remained in the teens, and right now temperatures are dropping down to the lower teens and adding in that west wind, which is gusting to, say, about 30-35 miles an hour. We are looking at wind chills about 20 to 25 below. So it's not too comfortable out here right now, Jill.
Well, Mark, are you noticing the rush hour is pretty nasty this evening, or did a lot of folks decide to just take it off early and head home to avoid this winter weather?
Well, it looks like it's the normal rush hour, but fortunately, I think there's not as much traffic, as the state police have been reporting that the traffic has been on the light side, but they say that the roads are just terrible. And unfortunately, we can hear some sirens off in the distance, so needless to say, there are probably some more minor accidents and fender benders. And speaking of accidents, we have heard of people driving off the roadways, skidding off the roadways in some places. It's that nasty.
Well, I'm not surprised. Hopefully folks will stay in tonight and they can get things cleared up there. And the really happy folks are the school kids, right?
They certainly are, but just one last note for the commuters that make it home tonight. It's a snow emergency in the city of Albany, and that means you should be parking on the even sides of the street tonight. After 8 o'clock, that snow emergency is in effect, so park on the even side tonight so the road crews can start to widen some of the streets and push that snow towards the curbs.
Okay, thanks, Mark. We'll check with you again in a little while. In the meantime, we still are getting snow in some areas. Albany, it's tapered off to flurries. You can see that here on our radar. We just have just a little bit of light snow here and there. You might get a few flakes, but we don't think you'll see much more in the way of accumulation. Now, can you see the darker green? It's barely hanging on up here in eastern Maine. That pretty much is it of the heavier snow. We had a break, and then a little disturbance came along and brought us heavier snow again this afternoon, and I think we're just about finished. The snow cuts off back around Worcester. Hartford, we think you're finished. Boston, it's basically just light snow, and it should actually be clearing out tonight. Now, that might sound like good news, but it really isn't. As this area of low pressure scoots off to the northeast, we'll have that cold air coming in behind it. And as Mark had mentioned, wind gusts to 35, 45 miles per hour, and if the skies start to clear, it is really going to get cold out there. It's chilly right now. We have temperatures that range from 27 in Boston, which isn't bad. Same in D.C., but it's in the teens back around Rochester and Erie, and we're talking about wind chills well below zero. And we actually have wind chill advisories all the way down into South Florida. Doesn't look too bad right now in Tampa and Miami. When's the last time you heard about a wind chill advisory in Miami? Well, you have it tonight. What's the wind chill right now? There really isn't one in Miami. But in Jacksonville, it feels like 35. In Panama City, hey, it's spring break time, and that's usually a hot spot. 19 degrees is the wind chill factor right now, and not only do we have wind chill advisories in effect, but there is a freeze advisory for tonight. And for much of the south, of course, the growing season has begun again, and now we're likely to see temperatures down into the teens, 20s, 30s, depending on where you are, and we're going to have a lot of frozen flowers out there. But not to worry, springtime is not far away. As a matter of fact, we should begin to see the recovery by the first part of next week. Rich has the details in the studio. Rich?
Okay, thank you, Jill. I do have the details. First, let's start with the current temperatures. And
in New Jersey, Route 38 in Cherry Hill. Other main roadways. There's our Cherry Hill shot. Other roadways are not bad to deal with as long as motorists exercise some good sense and a little caution. And it was another day of cleaning off the family car for many folks, or of getting around by whatever means necessary as this winter snow tally continues to climb.
So what's in store for the weekend, and is this the end of the snow? Outside of Dave Roberts for the answers. Dave?
Well, Rob, yes, it's the end of the snow. Even as I say that, a few flakes flurrying down throughout the area. Bitter cold temperatures, brutally cold temperatures. Here's Action Radar. Take a look at the picture. You can see just some light stuff scattered in our area and to the west and throughout the entire area. We'll set it in motion, and what you'll see is the tail end of the storm moving away. Officially, Philadelphia picked up about, we set that in motion, picked up about 3.5 inches of snow, the official number out of that. Now break it down, and the mix within that will show you the system, and it's all snow. It's all of the light variety in our area. The folks up in Boston picked up another 3 to 4 inches today. They've had about a foot of snow the past several days out of this storm. So the call from AccuWeather for tonight, blustery and frigid. The overnight low, 14 degrees. The winds are going to be out of the northwest 15 to 25 miles per hour. It's really blowing up a storm out here tonight. At this hour, the wind chills overnight will be -10 to -20. For tomorrow on Saturday, well, AccuWeather says still windy and cold, a high of 28. The winds 12 to 25. The wind chills still near zero. So yes, the snow is gone. Maybe a few flurries hanging around, but strong gusty winds and dangerous wind chills. You have to deal with that tonight and also deal with that tomorrow. And then Sunday, yes, there is some relief, and we'll talk more about that when we come back in just a few minutes. So yes, there is relief. Lisa, Rob?
We are delighted to hear that, Dave. Come inside. The snow snarled rush hour traffic this morning. John Rollins found a lot of motorists who are really ready for spring.
By this winter's standards, it really was not much of a snow, just enough to throw a wrench into the gears of rush hour. Slippery conditions contributed to numerous accidents like this one. That in turn slowed traffic to a crawl from the Blue Route to the Schuylkill Expressway, which meant many drivers saw increases in their commute time.
About an hour and a half.
Longer than normal or?
Longer than, pretty typical for a day like today.
Yeah, getting kind of used to it now, huh?
Yes, we are. It took 2 hours to get home yesterday. We can't escape this winter. It's been horrible.
How late are you?
So,
for normal Friday?
Actually, I'm right on time because I left a lot earlier. I left about 45 minutes to an hour earlier, so.
Today's snow meant more shoveling and clearing. This man wanted to know when he could put away his snowblower and start cutting grass again. It's clear many of us are just plain fed up with snow.
I hate it. I'm a summer person. I'm tired of all the snow.
Makes me, I don't know, want to move to Florida. I don't know. What do you think?
What I have to say, you can't put on TV.
It seems too much winter weather can be depressing. It plunged this man into a fit of sarcasm.
Oh, it's just a wonderful winter wonderland. I'm just having such a great time.
This morning's snowfall snarled traffic and caused commuter headaches, but as annoying as it was still better than the freezing rain that had once been predicted. John Rollins, Channel 6 Action News.
Police are searching.
My drink.